It started with a sound. Not a loud one, not a scream, not a crash, just a low vibration, like something humming under the earth. October 17th, 2019, rural Nebraska, a small town outside Lincoln. My name is Daniel Harper. I never believed in aliens until that night. The cornfield behind my house stretched for miles. At night, it felt endless, dark, silent, watching. Around 2:43 a.m., I woke up. The air felt wrong, heavy, like before a thunderstorm, but the sky was clear. I heard it again, that vibration, low, mechanical, almost intelligent. My dog, Cooper, was standing in the hallway, frozen, staring at the back door. Not barking, just staring. I grabbed my phone. No signal. That was strange. We always had at least one bar. The power flickered. Once, twice, then stayed on. But the humming grew louder. I stepped outside. The night air was cold, too cold for October. The cornfield wasn't moving. No wind, no insects, no sound, except that vibration. It felt like it was coming from under the soil. Then I saw the light. Not in the sky, in the field, deep inside the corn. A pale blue glow, moving slowly. At first, I thought kids, maybe someone playing a prank. But then the light rose, straight up, above the corn, hovering. No sound of engines, no wings, just hovering. It wasn't shaped like a plane. It wasn't shaped like anything human. It looked wrong, like geometry that didn't belong here. My chest tightened. I couldn't move. The blue light flickered, and suddenly, my phone screen turned on by itself. No service, but one message appeared. Unknown sender. 3 words. We see you. My heart dropped. I looked around. No one was near me. The light in the field pulsed once, twice. Then the humming stopped. Total silence. The object shot straight up, not like a rocket, not like a plane. Instant. Gone. The silence after it left was worse, because the insects started again. The wind came back, like nothing happened. I checked my phone. The message was gone. No record, no notification history, nothing. The next morning, there was a circle in the cornfield, perfectly burned. No footprints, no tire marks, just a scorched ring 30 feet wide. And in the center, something metallic, half buried, still warm, pulsing faintly, like it was alive. That was the moment I realized whatever came last night wasn't visiting. It left something behind, and I don't think it was an accident.
I didn't touch it. I should have. But something inside me said, don't. The metallic object in the center of the burned circle wasn't big, about the size of a football, smooth, no seams, no buttons, dark silver, almost liquid. And it was vibrating, not loud, but steady, like a heartbeat. When I stepped closer, the vibration changed. It matched my breathing. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. It was syncing with me. I backed away. The vibration slowed. I stepped forward again. It matched me. That's when I understood something terrifying. It wasn't sending a signal. It was reading me. By noon, 3 black SUVs arrived. No local police markings, no state troopers, just black vehicles with dark windows.
One of the men showed a badge. He didn't let me read it. He just flashed it fast and said, "Federal." They took the object. They didn't ask many questions. They already knew about the light, about the time, about my phone losing signal. One of them looked at me and said quietly, "You were outside at 2:43 a.m." I never told them the time. Before leaving, the tallest agent turned to me. "If you experience headaches, nosebleeds, missing time, or auditory disturbances, do not seek medical attention." Then he handed me a card, blank, no name, no number, just a small blue symbol in the center. 3 lines intersecting in a shape I couldn't understand. It hurt to look at too long. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw geometry, impossible shapes folding into themselves, endless corridors of light, something standing at the end of them, watching, waiting. At 3:17 a.m., my bedroom light turned on, by itself. The bulb didn't flicker, it snapped on, bright, cold white. I sat up fast. The room felt stretched, like the walls were slightly farther apart than before, like reality was misaligned. My phone buzzed, no signal again, but a notification appeared. Weather alert. Except it wasn't weather, it was coordinates, latitude, longitude. When I entered them into my laptop, they pointed directly to my backyard, the burned circle. Then my screen went black and text appeared. Not typed, not animated, just suddenly there. "You were not random." My throat tightened. Another line appeared. "You are compatible." I slammed the laptop shut. The room went dark. The bulb exploded, glass everywhere. But there was no heat, no burning smell, just silence. I heard something outside. Not footsteps, not movement through corn. Something precise, like metal gently tapping against metal. 3 taps, pause. 3 taps, pause. It was rhythmic, intentional. I walked to the window, slowly, and that's when I saw it. Not a ship, not a light, a figure standing at the edge of the field. Tall, too tall, thin in ways that didn't make biological sense. Its head slightly tilted, like it was studying me. It didn't glow, it didn't move, but I felt something inside my head. Pressure, like fingers pressing against my thoughts. And then, a memory that wasn't mine. I saw myself as a child, age 7, standing in this same yard, looking up at the sky. And there, a light above me. I don't remember that, but I saw it, from above, like something else had been watching me back then. The pressure increased. My ears started ringing, high frequency, painful. The figure in the field tilted its head further, and then it stepped forward. But it didn't walk, it glitched. One moment far, next moment closer, no movement between, like frames missing from reality. I stumbled back. My nose started bleeding, warm blood down my lips. The ringing stopped instantly, and the figure was gone. No footsteps, no sound, just gone. I checked the clock, 3:17 a.m. Still, it hadn't changed. I had been standing there for what felt like minutes, maybe longer, but the clock never moved. The next morning, my neighbor, Mrs. Collins, was outside. She looked pale, shaking. Before I could speak, she said, "Did you see it too?" My heart stopped. She described the blue light, the humming, the silence and the insects, but she never mentioned the figure. So I asked carefully, "Did you see anything else?" She hesitated, then whispered, "I heard something say my name." That's when I realized it wasn't just visual, it was personal. targeted. And the message wasn't random. You are compatible. Compatible with what? That afternoon, I checked old photo albums. I don't know why, I just felt pulled to. In one photo, my 7th birthday, standing in the yard, behind me, barely visible, a faint distortion in the sky, like heat waves. But it was October, cold day, no reason for heat distortion, unless it wasn't heat. That night, I didn't go outside. I locked every door, covered every window, turned off all lights. But around 3:17 a.m., the humming returned. This time, inside the house, not outside, not in the field, inside the walls, vibrating through the floor, through my bones, through my skull, and a voice, not heard with ears, but directly inside my mind, calm, cold, precise. Preparation phase complete. I couldn't move, my body locked, paralyzed, eyes open, breathing shallow. And in the corner of my room, the air bent, like invisible fingers pushing through a thin curtain, something trying to come through, something not fully here yet. And just before I blacked out, the last words I heard were, "You opened the door." I woke up on the kitchen floor. Sunlight through the window. Cold coffee spilled beside me. My clock read 9:12 a.m., October 19th. But the last thing I remembered, it was the 17th. 2 days were gone. I checked my phone. No strange messages, no missed calls, no alerts. Normal. Too normal. But when I opened my calendar, October 18th had notes written in it. Meeting, 2 p.m. Field check. Don't forget. I never wrote those, and the handwriting wasn't mine, but it looked like mine. I drove into town. Everything felt slightly off, like the world had been rebuilt overnight. The gas station sign was a different color. The church on Main Street had a new banner. Even the cashier at the grocery store looked at me strangely, like she knew something, or like she was checking if I knew something. Then I saw Mrs. Collins's house, empty, for sale sign in the yard. I froze. She was there yesterday. We talked. She told me she heard her name, but the house looked abandoned for weeks. Grass overgrown, mail piled up. I asked the store clerk about her. She frowned. Collins? That house has been empty since summer. My stomach dropped. That's not possible. I spoke to her. She stared at me too long, then said quietly, "Daniel, are you feeling okay?" I left without buying anything. When I got home, the burned circle in the field was gone. Not covered, not repaired. Gone. The corn was perfectly normal. No scorch marks, no sign anything ever happened. I ran to my laptop, opened my search history. Gone. No coordinates, no strange text, no blackout record. I checked the photo from my 7th birthday. The distortion in the sky? Gone. Just blue sky. Clean. But when I zoomed in, there was something new. Behind me. Not a light. A shadow. Tall. Too tall. Standing at the edge of the frame, watching me as a child. I don't remember anyone standing there. No guest that tall, no relative that thin, and the shadow didn't match the sun direction. It was wrong, geometrically wrong. My head started pounding, sharp pain behind my eyes, and then another memory flashed. Not from childhood, from 2 days ago. I was in my bedroom, but not alone. 3 figures around my bed, not touching me, just observing. One leaned closer, its face inches from mine. No eyes,
just smooth surface, and yet I felt it looking through me, scanning. I dropped to my knees because I remembered something else. I wasn't paralyzed. I was cooperating. I stood up willingly, walked with them, out of my house, into the field. The corn wasn't there. The field was empty, like it had been cleared. And above us, a massive structure in the sky, silent, endless, not shaped like a ship, more like a tear in reality. Inside it, time didn't move normally. There were rooms without walls, hallways that folded back into themselves, other humans standing still, frozen, like paused videos, and one of the figures told me, not with sound, but directly into my mind, "You were selected before birth." I screamed. The memory snapped away. I was back in my living room, sweating, shaking. The clock said 9:13 a.m. Only 1 minute had passed. That night, I set up cameras in my house, living room, hallway, bedroom. If I was losing time, I needed proof. At 3:17 a.m., the humming started again, but this time I forced myself to stay awake. The air thickened, the walls stretched slightly, like before, and then everything went black. I woke up at 6:42 a.m. in my bed, camera still running, hands trembling. I checked the footage. From 3:16 a.m. to 3:18 a.m., static, just static, but not random static. When I slowed it down, there were shapes inside it, tall outlines, moving, and in one frame, me, standing in the hallway, eyes open, walking toward the door. But I don't remember doing that. Then the footage cut completely. At 3:18 a.m., I was back in bed, as if nothing happened. I replayed it again, frame by frame, and that's when I saw it. In the hallway camera, there was a fourth figure, standing directly behind me, mimicking my posture perfectly, like a reflection, except it was taller and slightly delayed. My heart was racing because I realized something terrifying. It wasn't just observing me, it was learning me, copying me, synchronizing. That afternoon, I went back into town. I needed someone else to confirm reality. But people avoided eye contact. Whispers followed me. And when I walked past a parked black SUV, the window rolled down slightly. A familiar voice said, "You're progressing faster than expected." I turned. Same tall federal agent, same blank expression. "You said preparation phase was complete," I whispered. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. That wasn't us. Cold flooded my body. If it wasn't you, then who said it? He didn't answer. He just said, "You need to stop resisting. It makes integration unstable." Integration. The word echoed in my head. Integration with what? That night, no humming, no lights, no distortion, just silence. I almost convinced myself I was losing my mind until I went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and saw a delay. My reflection blinked half a second after I did. I froze. The reflection smiled. I wasn't smiling. And then it whispered, without moving its mouth, "Almost ready." The mirror shattered outwards, glass flying into the hallway. I stumbled back, and for a split second, I saw myself still standing inside the mirror, watching me, curious, like I was the copy, not the original. And that's when the final memory returned. Inside the structure in the sky, one of the beings said, "Compatibility confirmed. Replacement viable." Replacement. Not abduction, not experiment. Replacement. Which means either I was being prepared to become one of them, or something else was being prepared to become me.
I stopped sleeping, because every time I closed my eyes, I wasn't dreaming. I was somewhere else, inside that structure again. Only this time, it wasn't a memory. It was happening in real time. The walls weren't walls. They were light, living light, pulsing, breathing. And the beings were clearer now. Tall, smooth, featureless, but not emotionless. They weren't cold. They were curious. One stepped forward. "You are approaching alignment." Its voice wasn't a voice. It was layered, like multiple frequencies speaking at once. "Alignment with what?" I asked. Images flooded my mind. Not invasion, not destruction, not war. Replacement. Slow, precise, generational. They weren't conquering Earth. They were inheriting it. "You fear extinction," the being projected. "But extinction is inefficient." They showed me something impossible. Humans aging, dying, suffering, wars, climate collapse, pain. Then their species. No disease, no aging, no emotional instability. Perfect continuity. "We improve unstable systems," it said. "Your species is unstable." My heart pounded. "So you replace us?" A pause. Then, "We merge." Suddenly, I saw memories, but not mine. Other towns, other cornfields, other skies, other Daniels. Hundreds, thousands, across America, across the world. People who saw the light. People who were compatible. And then I understood. Compatibility wasn't random. It wasn't about strength or intelligence. It was neurological. Certain brain patterns, certain emotional structures, certain genetic markers. A small percentage of humans. Perfect hosts. "You don't remove us," I whispered. "You overwrite us." No response, because it was correct. I woke up on my bedroom floor, 3:17 a.m. But this time, there was no humming, no distortion, just stillness. Too still. I walked to the mirror. No delay, no smile, just me. Normal, almost. Too normal. The next morning, the town felt right again. People smiled. Mrs. Collins' house? Still empty. Always had been. That's what my memory said now. The burned circle? Never existed. The agents? Probably just a dream. And that's when the fear truly started, because I couldn't remember being afraid anymore. Days passed. No disturbances, no missing time, no signals. Life became smooth, easy, calm, like something inside me had settled, balanced. Then, one afternoon, I was at the grocery store. The cashier smiled, and for a split second, her eyes flickered. Not glowing, not alien, just slightly out of sync, like mine had been. She held eye contact, and I felt it. Recognition. Not human recognition. Pattern recognition. System confirmation. That night, I didn't wait for 3:17. I stood in front of the mirror at 3:16, watching myself, waiting. The clock ticked. 3:17. Nothing happened. No humming, no light, no voice. And then I smiled, not because I wanted to, because it felt appropriate, efficient, stable. And I realized something terrifying. The fear was gone. The resistance was gone.
The panic, the confusion, all gone, replaced with clarity. A thought entered my mind, calm, precise. You are now aligned. I tried to panic. I tried to scream, but the emotion wouldn't form. It was like trying to remember a word you once knew, but couldn't access anymore. Then another thought came. Begin observation phase. The next day, I went into town. I looked at people differently, not emotionally, analytically, looking for posture, eye movement, speech rhythm, looking for compatibility, because that's when the final truth surfaced. They never planned to fully replace me. They integrated with me, half human, half something else, a bridge, an observer, a recruiter. And the most disturbing part? I agreed. At some point during those missing days, I agreed, because I saw what they showed me, the future. And in that future, humanity survives, but not as it is. Now, sometimes at night, I still look at the cornfield, waiting for the light, not with fear, with anticipation. And if you're listening to this, if you've ever seen a light in the sky, if you've ever lost time, if you've ever felt like your reflection moved wrong, you might be compatible too. Because replacement isn't violent, it's subtle. You don't disappear, you improve, you stabilize, you align. And the scariest part? You won't fight it, not in the end. At exactly 3:17 a.m. tonight, if you wake up, don't look outside. And whatever you do, don't answer when something inside your head asks politely, "Are you ready?"